Hey guys, MCU Collector here with the new video, and this is the next one up in the Hasbro Marvel Legends series Retro X-Men Wave. Here we have Wolverine. So yet another Wolverine figure to add to the collection. I don't necessarily mind it because I like Wolverine. I think the figures are all come out really good. This one, I'm not familiar with the costume at all, and he's just so unbelievably plain and basic. However, it is another Wolverine figure, and then the body mold that they use is actually really good. And then to throw that on top, this one has painted on arm hair, so I always really appreciate it when Hasbro does that. So we'll get right to it and open this guy up after we take a look at the packaging. It says Muramasa Blade. So all these Japanese terms, I'm just not familiar with them. So it looks to be the same as the katana that came with the Silver Samurai, which was one of these, I think, right? Oh, no, it is different. How about that? So we'll take a look at that and I'll compare the two swords. So pretty cool then. Here, look at the back of the package. We see all the figures in the wave. We got that outline of Wolverine. Let's check out that bio. Wolverine is the X-Men's greatest fighter, a master of all forms of hand-to-hand combat. Wolverine also has a fearsome secret weapon, razor-sharp retractable adamantium claws that can slice through anything. Man, I'm really liking these bios that they're putting on these retro figures instead of like the regular stuff. So there he is. One last look. Let's open him up. Alright, and here's the Wolverine figure out of the package, and he's a good figure. There's no problems with it, but it's just another Wolverine figure, and it's pretty basic. Now, this is a little used costume. I think he only wore this suit, it looked like, from what I can find out, in 1988 when he had his own solo series, when he kind of took on a ninja persona. This is the suit that he used. However, there are some differences. This suit, he has a red belt. From all the images that I can find, he did not have a red belt wearing that suit. And then I did look up some things on the Muramasa sword. So this is a actual specific sword, not a type of sword, which there's been two different ones, and they kind of both involve Wolverine and Silver Samurai. So that's pretty interesting there. So let's take a closer look at this guy now. Okay, so here's a close-up of Wolverine, and so it does look like this is a new head sculpt. I went through to see if this head's been used before, and it's actually a different one from like the Riders one, which is the same as the Days of Future Past, which I forgot to show off when I did the X-Force Wolverine, so you can see they are not the same heads. So this one is a new Screaming head. There's a little bit of blue paint added throughout the hair that you can see to kind of give it some shading effect. And looking at a lot of that artwork when he's wearing this suit, there's a lot of blue shading through the suit. Now Hasbro didn't give us any of that, and I'm okay with it to a point. I mean, I'm sure they could do a better job now, but if you look back at like the old Black Panther figure from the Rocket Raccoon wave, I believe it was, that figure is now nicknamed the Blueberry Panther because they way overdid the blue. Now, could Hasbro do a good job with it? Probably, but I'm okay without it. Again, the red belt just kind of looks funny since it wasn't like that in the costume. Painted on arm hair, so I like the way that they did that, because when it doesn't have it, it just kind of looks funny in my opinion, because he's got hairy arms. We get these same ones with the little metal pieces at the end, the same as the tiger stripe Wolverine. He's got black cuffs this time around on here. Now, as far as paint apps, there's not a lot of paint apps other than the arms, his face, but if you could see right at the calf, the lower half and the boots are a shiny black, whereas the rest of the costume is a flat black. So they did add some black paint to represent where his boots would be. You could see the line there. So that was interesting that they did that. And he's got big feet for Wolverine because they're using regular ones and not the ones that that he's used before with the boots and those kinds of things. So good looking figure. I'm happy with it. Let's see the articulation. Okay, so the articulation for Wolverine, so he can look down somewhat. Whoops. I'm trying to get him to look up. He can look up only so much also. The way that the hair is kind of sculpted is a little bit odd, and I know it's all black, so it's hard to tell, but it doesn't allow for a whole lot of motion moving it up. But he can get it somewhat up. Shoulders can go up this high, so good motion in the shoulder joints there. Of course, we have that butterfly joint with all the Wolverine figures have now been coming with. You can see can get that to go back a little bit more, but it was a little stiff. You gotta kind of have to work it. There is an upper bicep swivel there. We get a double jointed elbow. Again, his biceps are so big that the bend, you don't get a full amount of bend, but a little bit more than 90 degrees, so that is good. Wrists swivel, and they do hinge. And then he also comes with interchangeable hands. They're just open gripping hands, so he can grip the swords. These wrist cuffs are a separate piece. You could just pull them on and off when switching out the hands. And there you go. Same with this side, swivel and hinge. And then we also get a replacement hand for that as well. And again, this one's made. These ones are made to hold onto the sword, and you can hold the sword there. Okay, ab crunch. He can crunch down that far forward, so good ab crunch there. Going back, you can go back that much. There is a waist swivel. The belt is kind of in the way of that, but you could always shift the belt around up higher if need be, or down lower. So there is the swivel. Legs go out that far apart. He can kick forward that much, so good motion kicking forward. He goes back a tiny bit. Legs go out that far apart. There is an upper thigh cut there. Get a double jointed knee. There is no boot cut, even though there is a painted on boot. His foot hinges down, foot hinges up, and we get ankle pivot. So there is the articulation on Wolverine. Now let's see this guy next to Silver Samurai. Okay, and here's the Silver Samurai next to the new Wolverine. You can see the size difference between the two. I think looks pretty good. Based on some artwork that I'm looking at on one of the old covers of the Wolverine series, it looks like that's about the right size for the two of them. Now, some people have been asking me, because I didn't show size comparisons of Silver Samurai, you know, how does he measure up with some of the other X-Men? Here he is next to Bucky Cap, which is your pretty average standard 6-inch figure, and you can see he definitely is a little bit taller and bulkier there. So put Cyclops back. And here we have Wolverine and Silver Samurai. So I had talked about the sword earlier. So the Muramasa sword, and I thought it was going to be the same as the katana from Silver Samurai, but you could see that they are definitely way different. The handle, the guards, everything about them is different size. This one is a black blade because in the comics the Muramasa blade is black. Now there's two different versions. One of them has powers into it. I'm not sure if the second one does, but it was forged specifically for Wolverine, and it's actually kind of a thicker sword than we've seen before. So I like the way that this one looks and came out. Pretty nice. Now let's see Wolverine compared to the other Wolverines. So here are all the Wolverine figures, minus the one that came with the Amazon exclusive Sentinel Days of Future Past set. I don't have that one out. It's still in the box, or put it back in the box. But here we have all the other Wolverine figures, and there's even more to come. So there's maybe two. There's one that we know for sure, which is the Cowboy Logan figure, which is the fan channel exclusive. I had forgot to mention that when I reviewed the X-Force Wolverine. And then there's that rumored 3-pack with Jean Grey, Cyclops, and Wolverine. So maybe two more this year even, which is crazy, because this year alone we got this one, the Retro Wave, the X-Force, Weapon X, so that's 3, plus Cowboy Logan would be 4. We have the first appearance Wolverine with the Hulk 2-pack that I was supposed to get yesterday, but FedEx didn't deliver, so I'll actually have hopefully Monday or Tuesday. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's like 5 to 6 Wolverine figures this year alone. So it's going to be crazy. So I'll do another comparison probably Monday or Tuesday whenever I get a chance to do that review of the first appearance Wolverine with the Hulk figure. So lots of different Wolverines. Very exciting. They all present a different look at Wolverine. So I am very pleased to have them all. Cowboy Logan will be almost the exact same as this one. He will have a different head sculpt with a hat. A cowboy hat on, but it's basically going to be the same figure from what I could tell. But again, this one will be with the motorcycle anyway, so I'm happy to add it all into my collection. Now I'm going to do a couple of different head swaps. I know you guys like to see those kinds of things. This one is specific to this suit because he's got the face paint on there, but I'll show you guys some of those swaps here in a second. So this is a nice swap. I think I'll like the way it'll look, so I'm going to pop these heads off. I'm going to put this one on there. So maybe we can have an unmasked X-Force Wolverine. I mean, that head sculpt, you know, with the face paint, you know, it doesn't really work. but it does work for the figure. It does fit on there, so that's quite nice. Now, one thing I did forget to mention is that the Retro Wave Wolverine comes with the old style claws. So the X-Force Wolverine comes with these new style claws, but these ones will not work with these older ones. The blades themselves are just too big. The peg that's in there will not fit in these hands, so that is unfortunate, but something like that could work. And because I'm curious and the colors seem to kind of work, let's pop this Wolverine head on there, and that actually looks pretty good too and works out quite well. Take that one off. Let's pop this one back on there, and let's bring out Weapon X and see if this head will work. So we'll pop that tube out, pop that head off, because I actually really don't like the Wolverine head, unmasked head that one came with. He looked sad and just looked kind of weird to me. So I'm sure some customizers and whatnot, you guys will be able to paint skin tone over his eyes, and I think that will look really good, and I think that's a better look than the head that Hasbro gave us. So there it is, the couple of different head swaps I'm going to show you guys. I think this works out quite well. Okay, and that is my review on the Retro Wave Wolverine. You guys let me know what you guys think of the figure down in the comments below. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Here I tried to recreate one of the covers from the Wolverine that showed Silver Samurai and Wolverine. But some of the tricky things with the Silver Samurai is the dynamic poses. I know some guys said that you can, but he definitely can't get the sword to cross over his body or do anything like that. So it's very tricky and kind of a little bit difficult. But if you guys can do it, more power to you. Like, again, I'm an extreme amateur and not very good at posing figures. So many other people can do some amazing things with these figures. But if you guys have something on Instagram, tag me. I would love to see what you guys could do with it when you guys get your figure. That's all I have. If you guys liked the video, please hit that thumbs up button. If you have not yet already done so, please subscribe. And as always, guys, thank you for watching.